Camera A. I feel like I should put a background, right? There we go. Camera B. So again, today we're going to be doing a lot of those, I don't even know what I would call it, just like mouthpiece heads. They're going to be kind of interesting for the whistles. And then we'll be also making a little bit of, I don't even know what I would call it, like flowers. Just trying to get some of this stuff out of the way here. Do need a sponge. Some other things here. A little bit irritated by. So I don't know where those things are at. Maybe I have sponges up here. No. My wooden rope over here though. It's okay. We'll probably take a good sized chunk off of this here, you know? I think that will be good for me. This clay is a little bit stiffer, so it's not gonna look too peaceful to wedge, you know? A lot of people, they like gaslight you, right? And what I mean is like, they'll be wedging like clay that's really soft. When you wedge soft clay, it's gonna look really aesthetic, right? Don't listen to aesthetics though in pottery. They misguide you. Alright, so we got this. And so let's go over here. Okay. Some water. I'm gonna turn the music up just for myself a little bit here. And we'll switch between camera angles. And also right now, we need to find our sponge. This is a necessity now. Oh, sponge, where are you? Little sponge. Ah, I see. You've been hiding on the other wheel. So we got that. We need the wire. I feel like I need one more tool, huh? No. No, I'm good with just this, I think. Alrighty. I need a bat. Here we go. Alrighty. Somebody says, hey, there's a lot of things you guys are talking about. Thank you guys for being here. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to wet some of this. And the side. And I'm going to use this. And I like to wipe where my legs are going to be. You always want to kind of scoot as close as you can when you're on the wheel, right? Alright. Next thing we'll do is sometimes these don't fit in really nicely, so I take a little bit of clay and I push it into these little holes here. And the sad thing about this wheel is that they don't fit these bat heads perfectly, right? If we go over to zoom, how annoying, right? So there is a little bit of sadness when working with these. That they don't even sit on the piece or on the wheel very level. And that would really bug a lot of people. And it does bug me as well, but I try not to worry about it. Alright. Camera A. Get as close as you can to getting it centered. A little bit of water over the top here. And the first thing I'm doing is I'm taking my chicken wing here. This is the best part of the hand, this is the chicken wing. And you're slowly pushing the chicken wing down. And just by pushing that chicken wing down, you're going to see this little like bump of clay that I'm bringing down all the way to the base, right? And when you get to the base, you want to anchor that elbow into your body and push forward a little bit, and you can see it created this little notch here, right? Get over to the side. We'll bring this up. Alrighty. Space. So you can see the bat head again. I should invest in getting like some good bat heads, so they don't wobble like that, but I try not to worry about it too much. Mountain. Oh, sorry. Alright, so we're throwing off the hump, and really what does that mean is we're just working with this top part of the clay. We're not working with any of this bottom chunk, right? We're gonna make little heads for our whistles. So we're gonna start off with a small chunk. And again, we're just making small little pieces here. Thumb in. This up. Camera B. What is this top part? Oh. Close in. Nope. Space. Space. This is the closest you're gonna get, so let me know which angle you guys like more. Okay. Taking a little bit of water on the inside, my finger on the outside here. And I'm just gonna start, and I always like to think about it is your hands are talking to each other, right? And as any good friend talks to another friend, they listen, right? So when one hand is talking, let the other hand listen. If they're talking at the same time, you're gonna end up with problems, right? So my hand on the inside, as I slowly am taking the finger on the inside, it's talking and saying, hey dude, like, can I talk to you about my day, man? And the hand on the outside's like, yeah, sure, okay, let's just go up the side of the vessel here. You can just keep on talking. It was a pretty nice day. Oh wait, hold on, can I interject real quick? Yeah, you can. Now the outside hand is talking, right? And do you see how the outside hand is now talk a little bit louder? And you got your little vessel here. Mountain. I think this is the best angle for this, to be honest. Alright, and again, we're right under to the bottom here. And we're just talking with the clay. Pushing a little bit out. Feeling the thickness through the clay, making sure we're getting ready to take this in. Stuff on this top edge here. I'm gonna go right underneath of it. A bit more water right on this edge. And slowly we're sliding the tool in and down to separate it off of the base, right? You can see now there's this little ledge here, right? And so now we're gonna get ready to take this off. Again, maybe on this top we want it to actually flare out a little bit. Our wire tool is right underneath this ledge. You stop the wheel when you get halfway. I like to wipe my hands off on my body, but I'll try my best to not do this. I'll try to keep myself clean as possible, and you just lift it right off, and now you have a little vessel here, guys. So there you go. We're gonna bring this over here. Board. Go back over here to camera A. There we go. And we're off to the next one. So what I'm thinking about, right? You guys don't really know what I'm doing, so let me be a good pottery streamer here and let you guys in on my little secrets here. So I'm making these little whistles, right? I want to make toppers and covers for these whistles. And so I thought, why not add some thrown elements to do this? But something that I'm noticing right now is I'm throwing with a little bit too much, like the last thing I made was actually a little bit too big, right? We want to do something kind of a little bit more front here. Ka-chow. Finger down. direction. Gotta open that up a little bit more. Mountain. Board. Oh, it's already there. And we're just gonna keep on going, right? So what are some of the things I like about this way of working, right? Is you start with one mound and you're basically eating it, right? You're producing work, or you're defecating pieces with eating from the big mound here, right? And so I actually really like this process. I think it's a little bit more like fluid than if you were to be like, oh, I gotta make this one piece, let me weigh out 2 pounds. You know, like you're trying to mimic a machine at that point, right? I think like part of being human, our biggest power is that we're human. So when you're making things, why not, you know, try being more human and less machine. Alright, thumb in. Oh, a little bit too much clay there. Pinky underneath this bottom edge. I'm slowly pushing out. And again, I'm allowing that finger on the inside to talk louder than the one on the outside. And now you see this little bubble or bump right underneath, and I allow that finger to slowly take over, and then all of a sudden the outside finger wants to talk a little bit, right? There you go, you got a little vase there. You can see the tops, you know, you could always kind of take a little needle tool and flatten them, but they're not really meant for that, right? These are going to be heads for whistles, remember, so. A little bit of water underneath this edge here. Halfway through, stop. And I like to wipe off my hands quick. Lift up right underneath. I'll set them right down next to his friends. And we're just gonna keep on going, right? You guys are so funny. Somebody said eating and defecation always go well together. They're part of the same process, yeah. Alright. I'm flattening out this top just a little bit. And getting ready. Thumb in. Pause. Find our spot where we're going to start throwing from. I'll probably slow this down just a little bit too. I put my thumb back in, and then I'm slowly collaring this up. Now we're going to be working with this little cylinder here. Really trying to make sure we're not getting too thick and not too low on the bottom of this, right? It's quite important. Everybody always talks about, well, this is one thing. The bottom is important to start. You want to start slow always, right? And then once you get this little bump, you can just slowly take this up, right? But a lot of people, what they don't realize is when they get halfway through to the object, no longer is the bat, or in this case, the clay underneath, holding that together for you, right? Because the top is open. And so you kind of start moving clay a lot easier when you get up, right? So everybody's like, oh, my bottoms are thick, my bottoms are thick. But what's really stopping you from getting really tall vessels is not that your bottoms are thick, is that your tops are too thin, right? Once your rim is too thin, you're screwed, you know? Again, just a little hike in there. Again, pinky in. So pinky on the inside's talking a little bit louder. You can see, get that little bump forming. Then pinky, well, we're gonna swap here to just doing a normal lift here. There we go, a little vessel. I need to stop scrolling, bro. I was finna say get some knee surgery. Why, what's up with my knees? Camera A? Camera A? What's up with my knees, bro? They look weird. I got some weird looking knees or something. Is this in? Like that. A little water underneath. You ready? Wire tool. That's so satisfying. It's something that needs years of practice and patience along it. Not really. I feel like if you gave yourself a year, you could do what I'm doing right now. Realistically. I think within my first year of pottery, I got along pretty well. You just gotta do it often, really, you know? Like, I've only been doing pottery for 6 years, right? But I'd like to say in that 6 years of experience, a basic potter, you know, that same 6 years of experience would be 20 years in their lifetime, right? Because I just throw all the time. If you just, literally, if you just spend some time and said, you know what, I'm just going to throw for 3 hours a day, I guarantee you within the first year you'd be cooking. I heard if I wanted to get taller, you need to do something loud. I didn't hear the full sentence, but I love the word coming into play. Oh, taller? Oh, I see. No, I meant taller vessels, not taller people. I would say it's something you can't change is your height, so don't even worry about it, bro. Don't get knee surgery. And I'm kind of working with this. I would say this is probably a little bit too much. Play. Mountain. For an Indian, my grandfather tried to pass his knowledge to their generation, but I didn't understand what the value of a true gift is from grandfathers. The skill. Let's get back to Asma to teach me, pass on his knowledge. So he does this. Wow, yeah. You know, I would say if you're into this sort of stuff, that's fine, right? But, if I was a grandfather, I would say, what would make me so happy is if my grandkids would come up to me and just want to make something with me. I can imagine you don't need to learn his whole craft. If you just like made a couple of things with him, he might really like that, you know? It's like seeing multiple aspects of his life colliding together in one moment, right? His family, his craft, and all sorts of stuff. I just think it'd be pretty cool. I really don't like this one, so I don't know what we'll use this thing for, to be honest. This one is way too large. I need to wash off my wrist here. For some reason I'm getting like a clay rash or something. Back to it here. Is that a Gatorade wire? I don't know. I don't think so. Just a wire. You could use fishing line if you wanted. Underneath, finding that bottom edge with her finger here, then slowly lifting up some of that clay. And we're really not trying to get height here, we're just trying to get the clay even, right? Alrighty. Here we go, right on this outside. And again, our fingers are always talking to each other. On the wheel, the way you communicate is with touch, right? And so think of your hands are talking, right? Not only to themselves, but to the material. The existence of a pottery demon insinuates the existence of pottery angel, pottery god, as well as pottery Jesus. Alright. You gonna be pottery angel? Start a pottery channel? Go for it, bro. We could do collab videos. Naruto said, "This is not God talk, JJ." It says Naruto, dude. You're worshipping the Sage of Six Paths. I'm just playing. Just a little chunk here. And that last one was a little bit too big, I would say. What am I making? I'm making heads for whistles, right? I'm making these whistling chess pieces, and after one of the pieces dies, you have to play a song with its little whistle, right? And so I made all the whistles yesterday, but I didn't really like the way that they just look like whistles, and I wanted to get some thrown elements into it, so I'm making the heads of all the objects. I'm throwing them, right? So I think that'd be kind of, that's what I decided to do today. So I'm just throwing small little vessels so that they'd be the heads for hopefully like pawns, knights, and bishops, you know. This has gotten a little bit too thin, I would say, in the middle here, but we'll leave it. Let's see if that got too... Naruto, what happened to your son's anime? Yo, dude. He doesn't know he has a son yet because his icon is of Naruto when he's young. So you can't spoil the future for Naruto, dude. Space? Wheel? Camera B? What the heck? Good? Gimbal? Gimbal? There we go. That works. No, that's not how it works. That's not how the timeline works, yo. His son can only go to the past because he had his son in the future. He can't go to the future, or else it would probably screw up something in the timeline, so he can't have his son. You know? Camera A. Ka-chow. Mountain. Thumb in. Get ready to lift this up. There we go. Or is that a brick or sponge? This thing? This is sponge. couple of things about this too. I gotta bring two things over here. The first thing I want to bring in is a different wire, because this wire's a little bit thick. Do you see how my thinness here on my cone is tilting as I'm trying to cut something off? And so that's a sign to me that's a little bit too thin. Okay, and then after that I think I'm okay. Yeah, we'll just keep doing it. Just keep on going here. This little part. Squeeze this in just a little bit. Round that top off. Thumb in. Thumb out. Top. Underneath here a little bit. Little water on the inside. Pinky. Alright, so now watch how this wire, no, they're going to be heads. They're not bases, they're going to be heads. So you see how this wire cuts through and doesn't bend the whole pillar over? Board. Go. Just down, in and up. Run off this edge. Get ready. Bring this up. squeeze a little bit too hard. Alrighty. Bring this down. In. You ready? See that bump? It up. Alrighty. Here we go. Again, start off with a little trunk on the top. Thumb in. Give that edge up. A little water. Again, find that little bump. And they're walking that up. Make sure this isn't too wide. Get ready for another small chunk. I think we're getting the feel of it a little bit more. This one feels like it's gonna rip off. I can feel there's a rip happening on the inside of this. We'll see if we can get something out of it. Yeah, we might be actually okay. little bit too thin. So I'm gonna push in and not bring it out anymore. Bring this down. Hey, chill. There we go. Put this up and off. Oh. Again, chilling out here for a second. I'm gonna take up a little bit more clay. Little knob on the top here. Thumb in. Alrighty. Alright. Hopefully this is suction. Sometimes you have to leave a little bit of air else you won't get a good suction. You will get a good suction, sorry. Oh. You ready to push this a little bit more? Alrighty. Down, push down to the side a little bit. There we go. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining. Is this stuff for the canvases? No, these are for the whistles that I was making yesterday. bring this up just a little bit. Oh. Oh, the top finger got cut. So sad. I gotta bring this up the rest of the way. We can go back to rounding it out. Alright, there we go. You ready? Wire tool right underneath. Finger right through the top here. Underneath, thumb in and up. Right over to the side here. Underneath this bottom edge, slowly push down. Whoa. Sat too far back. I caught myself though. Why not use the wood tool to cut it off? I can show you what happens. The wire just gives me kind of like a flatter bottom. And sometimes if the clay is really wet, the wood tool has a little bit too much surface area, so it actually pushes it over. But we can try it. I mean, that is also a way that people do this. Fishing line, I feel like, is the best for this, right? Thing is, fishing line can cut your finger really easily, though. So be careful. I should get a needle tool. Like, needle tool is applicable in these instances. Probably a stick. We get about that much, and then we could probably just rip it off, to be honest. Hole now, I think. Yeah, a couple of them do, but it's not really. They're not vessels. You know, they're gonna be the heads for those whistles. So I gotta make a hole in it anyway for air to leave, for the whistle to work. And so I'm gonna be making holes in them anyway. So it's more of just the surface of it. Like, I want to have a thrown element on it. Just a little bit thin. There. Alright, again, right down to the bottom here. Put this up. Almost rip the top off. If I did pottery with my feet? No, I feel like that wouldn't work at all, dude. It'd have to be a blonde woman to be able to do content like that. It's so funny. You mean with pottery? Yeah, I think as long as you have one hand, I feel like you can, especially if your interior hand is now just like a little nub, right? It actually would be helpful in some instances, right? If you have one hand that has fingers and one hand that's like a nub, I still think you can do pottery pretty proficiently, and there would also be some things you're probably better at. Obviously, it's always nice to have more options, right, with fingers, but now a person with two nubs throwing, I would feel like, dang, I'd be pretty impressed. With feet, no. Is it difficult to remove clay from clothes? No, not really. You just break off all the big chunks and then you just soak it and then it all just dissolves. Man, those blondes would watch you. No. I don't really care about that, dude. I just want to make good vessels. Maybe arms or feet. Stop scrolling. Yeah, but I feel like for me it's not about like the shock value as much as it's just like what's actually going on, right? I think a lot of people who follow like the satisfying pottery video guys, you know, like if you listen to those guys talk for like 3 seconds, they all sound the freaking same. They all have the same like cadence, the same voice that they're presenting with. It just seems kind of like, it seems like AI. You know, and so there's so much that's going into masking and like dressing up what they're doing that you realize that they don't really know what they're doing. They're just like performing this like they're performing perfection, right? You can see my clay starting to rip off because there's just so much water. So I'm gonna work with this for a second. Long term, maybe. I'll tell you, I've been using the same washing machine for like 4 something years now, and I've had no problems. You just don't want to put wet clay. Like if you have a little bit of like, if I have a smudge, you wouldn't want to do that, right? It's really like get off all the large chunks and you're fine. As long as it's dry. seen on lives recently. I don't know. I wonder if it's bots, you know? Or it's like some like if somebody goes through lives and then they like, I'd click on their channel, and if you click on their channel, I wonder if they're posting a whole bunch of reposts or something, you know? And so like maybe that they're trying to boost engagement by just going on lives and posting something. I wonder if that has some weird interaction. I've always thought, like, I wonder if you are more talkative on YouTube, like in other people's YouTube comments, if that makes it so you get more engagement, you know? Other real users? I don't know. Oh yeah, I don't have any white clothes anymore, you know? All my white clothes are tan clothes now. I don't really care about how I look though, so. Most people just ask me if I do drywalling or construction when I'm out and about. Okay, why was it so uneven at this base? Hold on. Chill, 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 chill. So my head's kind of getting sore with the head microphone. because my shirt shifts around a lot more. You'd be surprised, especially if my shirt moves while I'm dancing or something. You get so much static. Even on my chest microphone, I'd get a lot of static. After this, I really gotta readjust my head set here. And then I was having that problem where I was using my chest mic. When I pushed down on the clay, I'd be pushing the microphone in the clay. That happened a couple times. I'll be back in a second, guys. Camera B. Camera B. Good. Is a collapsed whistle tree style possible? Yeah, you not just in one go, because you need to have like it needs to be a closed form. And obviously you need to add parts, but you could do it like put it together, but not in one go, I don't think. Why no green screen activated on good camera? I don't know. I just turned it off because I was making whistles yesterday, so that's why. Ka-chow. Mountain. What am I making now? I'm making the heads of whistles right now. So I have a bunch of whistles in a different bin, and these are all going to be little mini pots that I'm going to flip over so they become the heads for the whistles. I got a lot of sandy clay here, so I gotta be careful about that. So my phone froze and catch that. Yeah, I'm making whistles, and what I'm throwing right now are the heads for those whistles. They're gonna be chess pieces. And so imagine each time you get a piece out in chess, you have to blow and play the whistle like their send-off song, you know? That's really what I'm making. And then they said, can you please say blank, blank, blank? I know it's random, but please. What? You think I'm gonna say something random to somebody on the internet? Let me guess. If you play it in reverse, it says like something obscene. Sorry, pal. No thanks. You're gonna have to try a lot harder if you want me to say something random. Is too suspicious. I feel like there's another set of hands helping you mold the clay. No. Sometimes I feel like I don't have a body though, if that makes sense. Like I feel like, you ever see the floating hands from Super Smash Bros? Sometimes I literally feel like the floating hands. You don't get the movie reference? That's okay, Ghost. No, I don't like that movie, so I pull a blind eye to any references to that movie. Yeah, I think it's nothing bad. Don't be so cold. No. Always want me to say stuff. I don't like that. When people want you to do something a lot, be suspicious, you know? That's my advice for the day. Yeah, that's fine. Somebody could like cut and splice something together, but I'm not gonna be what is it called? You're not gonna get me right now. You're not gonna get me live. That's the only time that's the only time a joke really makes sense, right? If you take like old clips and like splice together some joke and I make reaction, sorry, you haven't won, you know? But if you get me to like, if I'm the butt end of a joke from one of your comments, now If you get me live, that's real. You know, that actually matters. It's so funny. You don't get movie references? Oh, I already read that. No, I got your reference. Don't worry. A mind goblin? I don't even know what that means. Stealing your thoughts. Huh. Well, you can't have people in your head or else they are stealing your thoughts, right? Like, the time that you're thinking about somebody else in your brain is time that you could be like having like an important thought, you know? So the fact that they're in your mind, they are mind goblins, right? Oh no, I went too thin. I got too excited. Oh man. Just collapse it down. Got you. Just say mind goblin. Oh my gosh. That's not fair. You know me for a little bit too long, so you can trick me. But what's the joke? Mind goblin. Is it just like to make me say something, or is there like a hidden... Is that an acronym for something? SMH. Bro. What the heck? Yeah, why is it not attaching? It's so annoying. this one's gonna be a little flower. Close in. And these will somehow go together. These, what I'll do with this is it'll stay like this for now, but then I'll pull this as if it was a handle. So I'll make a really long handle. So that's how I make these flowers, right? Okay. Alrighty, so now we gotta think about it. What we want to do next. Do we make just a bunch more flowers? What's Mind Goblin? You missed the Mind Goblin. Oh. Dude, I never even heard of the Mind Goblin one. That's crazy, you got me with that. Dude, that's not fair because I already think about like Mind Goblins, you know? So I'm definitely have like a 25% debuff to that joke because I'm already thinking about Mind Goblins. That's funny. Okay. So, again, I think we get some more clay. We make some more flowers. Got you good. You did get me good. But it will never happen again now that I know. That's crazy. Camera B. Good. Wheel. Ever's not that long. The average human probably lives like what, 60 years old, 50 years old? Alright. I'm gonna move some of this clay off the seat here. I got some clay on the seat. I gotta readjust my headset again. Oh man, it hurts. Okay. I'm gonna wedge some clay up here, okay? Camera B? I don't know why I did that. Alright. I'll cut this into 4 chunks. I think that should be a good enough amount. And we'll probably get only a couple stems from each. And then by that time, how dry are the first ones? They're still kind of wet, to be honest. Well, I'll just keep an eye on it. I'll keep an eye on them, because then we'll start, you know, making them here in a second. Part of me wonders maybe I should make like little eyeballs and things, and just do stamps for the faces. I think that'd be really fun. And I have like a stamp. I don't know. I have to think about it. Let's wedge one more. I think we'll get through these 2 chunks, and then we're done after that. Oh, hey, come on, focus up here. These 2 chunks will go back in the bin. Alrighty. do not want that to sit on that though. It's gonna dry too much. So let's bring this over. First wedge looks like an egg. Yeah, again, I'm not really wedging these, I would say. You know. Alright. Camera A. Good. Good job. My friend, he makes a bunch of eggs. That's kind of his thing, is he makes these like perfectly cast eggs. Alright, so I got some ripping here. So it wants to rip, so I'll bring it down. Down one more time. And up. We'll keep doing that until we don't get any more of these rips, right? I'd say this is okay. Right down, probably about to here. Doing with the scaly texture. Yeah, you're probably right. I kind of want to ask them to make some more of those eggs, because I think they're really cool. And if they just had the right glaze on them, they'd go crazy. Here. I should get a little bit more clay. And again, we'll wait until this bottom part is soft and we'll pull this into a handle, right? So this is the top of the flower essentially. This is empty, so we'll use this one. If I could instantly know a language, what would you want it to be? Probably Chinese. I want to instantly know Chinese. Yeah, either that or Spanish, one of the two. Explanation? No, I just know a lot of people that know those languages, so it'd be good. Got a weird air pocket in here. That top rim off. Whoopsies. It's too thin. Really? It's gonna break here. How about we do one of these? We'll just go with this. Alright, and so this will be the flower, and again I'll pull this bottom part. time, but that's okay. Alright, so there we go, the top of it, and again we'll pull this to be a handle later on. Alright. Considering how much interaction you got from this stream, people sexualizing your clay, maybe you should lean into it. No. I think about it this way, you know, capitalizing off of, like, at the end of my life, and I reflect on it, I want to see more of the things that I capitalized on and made things from are things that I learned and grew, not things I was given, you know? And so, for me, I think if I was to, like, look back on my life and be like, oh, wow, you know, I got people really like it for a different reason, you know, that's using something that I was given, like my body, as a way to capitalize off of it. Like, I just don't, that's just not what I want to look back on in my life. Let's do one where we split the thickness here. Oh, we'll leave that kind of weird, and then we'll collapse this over top of it. Alright, so we have this like weird little topper, but again we'll pull a handle off of that. So, kind of a weird one, but we'll keep this one. You gotta have variation, so when you have things that are like a mess up, try to salvage what you can out of it, you know? And see if you can't like make a new idea through it, right? I feel like greatest change comes when you have to deal with high intensity, right? Right? And so when something fails, it's like an intense moment, like, oh, like, dang it, right? And so if you just try to lean into that fail and not give up heart and just keep going through it, I think sometimes when push comes to shove, you like go into a path that you didn't know existed, right? Like your body guides you to a new path. And so that's what I think about when I fail, right? Like, how can I guide this to a new realm? And sometimes that on-the-fly thinking mindset really does change the way things turn out, right? It's close to being something cool. You guys will see this one in a second. It was like about to be something cool, and then it just got a little bit too off, right? But I still think glaze can kind of play with the form a little bit, so we'll keep this one too. You know me? Yeah, I'd say something like that. Side. Come in. No. The bottom of the clay is a little bit. You see how it ripped off at the bottom there? We're gonna see if we can keep this. And we'll try to hurry up and end here with this one, and then we'll get on to the next chunk, but maybe we'll make something a little bit more. Yeah. My hair stuck in here. Come on. I feel it. Oh well. There'll just be hair in this one. And so this is it, and we're okay with it leaning to one side like that, right? Like that's just the way that we'll pull it from, and so we can lean it to other sides, but I'm fine with it leaning to that other side right now. But we'll pull this bottom as like if it was a handle here, but anyway. Totally edible plants from a mythical place. They have that vibe. Why did I just get a bunch of clay on my leg for? Alrighty. A cool mushroom, kind of like a cool mushroom. Number B. Get another chunk here. Third one from the top. Push down. And tuck in. And pull up. And again, you gotta do this multiple times, and that will get rid of all these lines here. It's like taking, like stretching before you go for a run, right? Bring this up. Camera A. Ka-chow. Alright, yeah, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Alright, here we go. Mountain. I'm gonna make a little, some foliage below this here. Just lift this up. And the back of your nail is coming upwards. Be careful here. Just gotta chill. And so I'll pull this as a big long handle, and then that's how I make my flowers. Alrighty, bring this in, down. Do you always use so much water and slip? Yeah, I always use a ton. Alright, I'll bring this up. Somebody waved and said hello, hello. Again. Chill out right here. Ready? Thumb in, thumb out. And what are we gonna do for this one? We might do probably like an orb. We gotta make sure we're pretty. I gotta slow down a little bit. This is actually going to collapse and break, but we're just going to push it in and rip, and then hopefully we can get this inwards a little bit more. Alright, that's about what we need. I'm going to cut a little bit underneath. Underneath, we're going to be making our flower petals now, and thumb coming up. I don't really know if I did this right. I miscounted. It's okay. It looks floral enough. Again, I pull those like a handle off of this chunk here, so they become long. I set them in vessels, and they're flowers. Some up. You ready? Pull this down. Oh, started to rip. Down. Up. We got one more. I think after this one I'm gonna get off then too, guys. Alright, so bring this up a little bit here. See how much I wanna throw with. A lot of ripping here. If I'm in. Out, up. Again, a little bit of water on the inside here. We want to go pretty wide. Spin. Alright, so we have this kind of like flowery thing. I wish I could have got a pinch and close it, but sometimes if you have enough clay you can pinch and it closes it in a nice weird way, but while keeping kind of like one side a little bit taller. But I couldn't do that on this one. We'll set that one in with the others. And we got the other one that we did before, so this is that other one, so we'll put that one in there too. This one, you can see, got that thing on the top that I was kind of looking for, but anyway. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.